What the fuck is up? What's good? Welcome back. YouTube, welcome back. We're back on CS2 today, and there's a massive update. It is May 23rd, 2024, and we got a crazy update to wake up to today. Sinka says hi, YouTube. So we take a look. We've got the CS2 Firesale update. The update includes some crazy changes. Main notable changes are CT economy, price cuts, M4A4, an incendiary grenade, and a bit less, a bit less sort of visual changes as well here. So if we take a look, not only does the Molotov now remain the same on the T side, but it has reduced spread, and the CT, the incendiary, has gone down to 500 cost now, and I believe it was 700 or 800 before, and it also has a sort of a green phosphorus fake Molotov fake fire effect to show that it's a CT molly, which is super important. So if we buy a molly on Vertigo here, throw it down, you're going to notice it's going to be a much more yellow fire with less sort of spread upward, which you can see through, which is good. And it's gonna have, it's gonna extinguish maybe 1 to 2 seconds earlier and have less spread. So the CTs are not only gonna have price cuts. If you take a look now, the M4A4 is now only 3,000 compared to 2,900 of the M4A1S. So a lot more people are also going to be choosing the M4A4 now to keep it in line, which is crazy. Amongst other changes, we also have rental of weapons now. So if you are a fan of the Kilowatt collection and you buy one key, okay? So for the $4, if you go to inventory now and you use your one key, you click on the Kilowatt case, click unlock container, click the key. You can now open the case, so you can pay the $4 to rent, okay? With one key, including the knife, okay? And you can open and rent all of the skins for 1 week. So if you rented a case every single time a case drops, you're going to be able to basically have the collections while they're out and try them out before you purchase or make any decisions yourself, which is, I think this is a really good change. I think they've sort of gone here and copied a little bit of what Team Fortress 2 did, essentially, which is really good. So they have the rental system, which is crazy, and they've also changed a lot of the Dopplers. So a big problem and a big change that a lot of people had was with the Doppler gems. So mainly the phase 2s, and the other ones were sort of max, how would you say, cyan, right? So if we take up, if we quickly go to, I'll show you here. I already had some of the inspects going with some of my buddy. So if you take a quick look now, the emerald looks, the sapphire looks normal. Here's the phase 2s now. Oh, that wasn't it. Here, excuse me. If we take a look at some of the phase 2s now, they are not, definitely not as much pink as before. They were very pink galaxy-esque, and now it's very purple, very purplish as they've gone back to the CSGO, basically. They've essentially gone back to the CSGO model of what the phase 2 was, because they had a lot of people that were asking for it to get changed. And if we take a look at the marble fades, the karambit fades also look really good. But if we take a look at the marble fades here, if I quickly tab out, and I show you guys CS2 stash, knives, and we go to, let's show a marble fade for an example. So let's go M9 bayonet, and we go to marble fade. You can now see, if I inspect the statty one, inspect in game, give it one moment here. Give it 1 second. Boom. So if you look at the marble fade texture, now the marble fade textures have also been restored to pre-CSGO states. So essentially what that means is they're not as bright as before, with each color of the marble fade sort of going into a Doppler galaxy pattern in the sense. Now the marble fades will be the flat texture, the sort of, you know, flat, very representative texture of the marble fades from CSGO. And I know a lot of people will either be really big fans of this or absolutely hate it, because I hated the marble fades in CS2, but the marble fades now are back to where they were before, and honestly, I'm a big fan of how they've restored the marble fades. And finally, to take a quick look at some of the changes here, I've pulled up Vertigo. I pulled up Vertigo in advance for us, so that we can quickly take a look at some of the changes. Now, if we head all the way down below to the T-spawn area, and we come up through A now. If we take a quick look, we come up A. There's going to be a few changes here. So let's come up A, and you'll notice now that, okay, everything looks normal, correct? Except this area, the scaffolding has been extended outward. So now if you take a look, on the A site, the scaffolding now goes all the way back into the sniper's nest, like checkers, okay? Like checkers on cache, which is going to be crucial. And this wall is completely closed here. And the maze area has also gotten completely closed off. So now from sniper's nest, you'll be able to peek out sight, but also have to worry about this little side hall area. The scaffolding, the metal scaffold on the left, which is really good. But at the same time, to the same extent, if you come up side hall and peek out, you're now going to have the whole area elevator to deal with. And spawn and mid. They've completely just opened up the door here. So now from mid, you're going to run through A. You're going to have a lot faster spawns in that sense. The timings are going to be a little bit different. But you'll also be able to run out here if you take it on T or CT on a retake, and take control of the elevator area a lot quicker. Sort of like how tree room, you want to sort of insert yourself as far into tree room on cache as you can without, you know, the CTs sort of coming back in. That way you can establish your dominance of that map area. So overall, quite a few different changes. I'm going to pull up the patch notes myself, the official patch notes. CS2 patch notes, and we're going to pull up the news here. So what they've done essentially is release notes for 5/23, so May 23rd, 2024. The height of the pillar of flame for both the Molotov and the incendiary grenade now decreases over time. You'll be able to see over the molly a little bit more over time as the grenade height goes down. Reduce the terrorist team award when bomb was planted and defused from 800 to 600 to decrease the impact of the first round on subsequent rounds. Okay, so the CTs are going to be able to get in the game a little bit easier. The A4 has gone down from 3,100 down 100, like I was actually asking for a few weeks ago, to 3,000. So it's going to bring it a little bit closer there. Minor adjustments to the camera movement. Added a explicit switch hands left and switch hands right console commands. Interesting. Deathmatch bonus weapons are now the same for all players regardless of loadout. So if I change this now. So let's see if we change this now. So if we find mouse 4. And then we get the other command, the switch hands right. See if we can do this. Now, if we load into a workshop quickly, I do believe it might be the instant swap key now. Make sure. Interesting. Ah, no, okay, so that's still just... It's just the initial, It's still the initial, just the switch hands command, the H, but it's just been given a direct console command now. Deathmatch bonus weapons are now the same for all players, regardless of loadout, which is good. The incendiary grenade, let's take a look. They adjusted the flame visual treatment to that green one. They reduced the duration, and they reduced the area covered, and the amount has gone down $100. So it's going to be very good for the CTs there, the incendiary. Players can now rent the collections, which is interesting, like TF2. Some HUD fixes. They fixed, some various HUD fixes, which is cool. And chickens now have new animations. They can walk up hills. Chickens can now turn right while walking. Interesting. There's some demo changes, which make it, demo playback can be toggled into highlight mode, which will show only kills and deaths for the active player. That's great. Demo playback crashes. Vertigo, tons of changes. Slightly tweak size of bomb site, tweak the spawn timings, change the wingman layout to now be on A site on Vertigo. They've changed baggage a little bit, changed office a little bit, and they've changed some Mirage bad collision. So overall, the update, nothing too insanely crazy. Big update, don't get me wrong. A lot of them were fixes, and a lot of them are sort of changes now to get us back into the game and to get us enjoying, the maps that we already have to the extent that Valve wants us to enjoy them. So, overall, pretty interesting. My favorite was the chicken update. Did you know if you rented a case every week, you can buy the whole collection for 1.5 years for the price of an Inheritance factory new? That's crazy.